Hello. Well, I guess I'm on a roll. This is Steph, episode 7. It's amazing, isn't it? There's a couple of things I want to talk about before I move on to the uh, truly holy thing in my life. What I truly honor and respect with all my heart. Emmet Fox. He is one of our prophets of the 20th century, in my humble opinion. But I want to talk about a couple of other things. One, it's Memorial Weekend. This is a hard time for me, hence the black. Okay, I'm wearing black because my son was in the military when he passed on, and this weekend is for him and all the others like him who passed away. I'm not going to get into anything about what my son was about or did. I wrote something about him. It's called My Son, My Hero, and then I found out a whole bunch of people wrote about their sons. My Son, My Hero is out there everywhere. If you do a Google search or a search of any kind, you're going to find My Son, My Hero. I'm sure that there's My Daughter, My Hero is out there too. And so I edited my published, and I did publish it to the web. My published version, I put another paragraph in there stating that I had great honor and respect for all the other sons and daughters who are true heroes, whose candles burned out very quickly. And my son's candle burned out very quickly, and so did all those others. They are our heroes. No matter what, I don't care what they did, they are our heroes. And they didn't even have to be in the army. To me, this weekend signifies the loss of anyone that we love. Anyway, getting on with it. I'm on a couple of things on Yahoo or connected with Yahoo. And now YouTube is part of Google, but they're all connected. I link them together. And I am really into space. I really am. Everything I watch has to do with space travel or, the possibilities of what we could have been doing by now in space. Because I believe that for 800 years, the Catholic Church, and I'm not putting the Catholic Church down, I'm putting the human beings that were responsible for this down, or their ethics down. Not them, but what their belief systems were. They believed that science was heresy, and that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Today, we know that. In fact, today, fortunately, and probably in every country in the whole world, anybody can be anything they want to be. Maybe they can't advertise it, but they can believe whatever they want. And truly, in this world today, people understand that. Okay, now here's the deal. I've been doing a lot of reading lately, I downloaded a few more books into my tablet, and I have a tendency to read more than one book at a time. It just depends on what my current mood is. But anyway, one of the things that I'm really into is analyzing and looking at other belief systems, religious belief systems. And the reason I do this is because it helps me to understand where spirituality, the concept, how it developed, okay? I have a definition of it in a document that I wrote called The Light. That is online, by the way, in Google Docs. It's one of the documents, the many documents that I have sitting in Google Docs. I have published that. I have shared it. Anybody can go in there and read it. Anyone. It's open, shareable, readable. I don't think it's the best thing I've ever written, but it's just kind of a beginning approach. It's trying to set up something for something big that I'm working on right now called Spiritual Foundations. The spiritual foundations is the most important thing in my life right now as far as my work, so to speak. I didn't even think about it. Somebody else, 3 other people told me or asked me to write this. So I am. When my son passed, I really put a lot more effort into it. And I felt an urgency to do this. I don't know why. I just feel an urgency. So I'm really not horsing around with it now. I'm really working on it heavy duty. And I hope people find it and start reading it. I'm changing it. It's a work in progress. I have it downloaded into my Outlook on one of my computers, and I'm working on that. Now, I do intend to upload pieces of it as I go along. I'm on the maternal side right now. I have to be careful with this because this is a real story about a real family, and my spiritual beliefs are this: no hurting anybody else, not purposely. I can't make judgments. Doesn't mean I can't judge actions, or at least give an opinion on actions, but I'm not allowed to judge. So it's hard. It's very hard. Try it sometime. Try to take away all judgments out of your speech, out of your thoughts. Just give it a try. You'll find how difficult it truly is. Now, I'm a little past halfway there. And in episode 6, I mentioned that I was going to continue to read Sermon on the Mount by Emmet Fox. And this is not necessarily a religious book, so to speak. It is a spiritual book. And I'm on chapter 1. What did Jesus teach? Now here's a new concept. We're not focusing on Jesus on the cross. We're focusing on what did Jesus teach. So here we go. Jesus Christ is easily the most important figure that has ever appeared in the history of mankind. It makes no difference how you may regard him. You will have to concede that. This is true whether you choose to call him God or man. And if man, whether you choose to consider him as the world's greatest prophet and teacher, or merely as a well-intentioned fanatic who came to grief and failure after a short and stormy public career. And by the way, let's just for a moment talk about that. 3 years. In 3 years' time, Jesus was well known. Even in the Roman Empire, they were starting to hear about Jesus. In a world that didn't have computers, by the way. Okay. However you regard him, the fact will remain that the life and death of Jesus and the teachings attributed to him have influenced the course of human history more than those of any other man who has ever lived. More than Alexander or Caesar or Charlemagne or Napoleon or Washington. More people's lives are influenced by his doctrines, or at least by the doctrines attributed to him today. More books are written and read and bought concerning him. More speeches are made, call them sermons, concerning him than concerning all the other names mentioned put together. To have been the religious inspiration of the whole European race throughout the 2 millenniums during which the race has dominated and molded the destinies of the entire world, culturally and socially as well as politically, and through the period in which the whole of the earth's surface was finally discovered and occupied. And in its broad outlines, shaped by civilization, this alone entitles him to the premier position in world importance. There can hardly, therefore, be a more important undertaking than to inquire into the question of what Jesus really did stand for. What did Jesus teach? What did he really wish us to believe and to do? What were the objects that he really had at heart? And how far did he actually succeed in accomplishing these objects in his life and in his death? How far has a religion or movement called Christianity, as it has existed for the last 19, actually 20 centuries now, really expressed or represented his ideas? Okay? If he should come back now, what would he say of the self-styled Christian nations in general? And of the Christian churches in particular, of the Anglicans, the Baptists, the Catholics, the Greek Orthodox, the Methodists, the Presbyterians, the Quakers, the Salvationists, the Seventh-day Adventists, or the Unitarians, to cite them alphabetically. There's a lot more, but in his time, that's what he focused on. What did Jesus teach? That's the question. This is the question which I have set myself to answer in this book. I propose to show that the message which Jesus brought has a unique value because it is the truth, capitalized truth, and the only perfect statement of the truth of the nature of God and of man and of life and of the world and of the relationships which exist between them. And I'm going to have to stop now, but we'll continue there. And I want to thank everyone, anyone who watches this, I wish to thank you.